For today's special episode of Transform My Dance Studio, we are revisiting one of our most popular training series for dance studio owners. Of course, I'm talking about Dance Teachers Unite. Now, if you haven't heard of Dance Teachers Unite, don't worry. Over the coming weeks, I am going to be sharing with you the very best bits and golden ticket ideas from the 10-day online summit. During Dance Teachers Unite, Clint was joined by over 30 industry experts who share their greatest tips for dance studio owners on every aspect of your business. From mindset to finance, from digital marketing to administration overhaul, we have got you covered.
Hey everyone, it's Clint Salter, your host for the Dance Teachers Summit for 2015, and today is a fun day. Today is all about Evergreen enrollments. We are talking about sales, and I know so many of you don't like using that word, but you are business owners and you need to create a sales process in your business to get those new student enrollments through the door, but then enrolling, signing up, and then you need to retain them. So we've got experts today helping us on how to do that in our business. Now, I'm really excited to be bringing on a good friend of mine who is a guru when it comes to sales. She's been working with health clubs and gyms across the world for many, many years. She's got amazing strategies. She's fun, pretty entertaining as well, and funny. Hello, Amanda. Great to have you.
Hi, everybody.
Amanda, I'd love for you to start by just telling us a little bit about you in 60 seconds. It's quick. A little bit about you, what you do, and what's your big mission in the world.
Well, basically, I've been involved in building businesses for the last 20 years. I've started off in retail sales and then ended up in the fitness industry growing health clubs and personal training studios and yoga studios and swim school and all that sort of thing. So my biggest passion is to help business owners understand about the sales process, not be scared about it, learn about lead generation. I think we put sales and marketing over here and we forget about lead generation, which is probably the most important thing. And also to show people that they need to consistently, learn and grow in sales, but you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can actually grow your business on a budget, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I love that. What is, for our studio owners that are like, okay, I know about sales, I've heard about marketing, what's lead generation? It must be about getting more students into the studio. What's your kind of definition of that?
Yeah, for me, lead generation is about controlling the marketing. So we can actually have, we put out flyers and everything for marketing or send emails out. But the whole concept of marketing is to get a name and number. Once we get a name and number, that's where I call it lead generation, when we get an actual name and number, and then we can control the process from that point on. So with my staff, their goal is to get about 30 new leads a day and to put them into the grow databases and put them into the system as well as us doing the marketing. So we've got 3 components. Well, actually, we've got 4. We've got retention of customers, and then we've got lead generation, sales, and marketing. So the lead generation component would be us getting name and numbers in various strategies such as lead boxes, referrals, and even we go to bus stops with like a clipboard and just say, would you like to book in for a free yoga class, or maybe would you like to book in for a free dance trial? So lead generation is about more about having the control about tomorrow's sales.
I love that. So our studio owners should definitely be thinking about lead generation, and they should probably be putting some goals in place around that. Like you just said, 30 names and numbers. I mean, how should they be thinking about it? Like, what goals could they be putting in place? If they've never thought or heard of lead generation, and they might put a Facebook ad out there, or they might do a flyer drop and they're getting some names and numbers, but they kind of don't have any goals around it, how would you suggest they start kind of putting a strategy in place for that?
So what I do is I do a growth plan. And the growth plan is, I think we focus too much on sales and not how much the business grows by, because I even remember walking into a business and I said to do sales training, they called me up to Newcastle, went in there and I said, okay, so what's your sales target? Had the whole room, had a big whiteboard, ready to do sales training for the day. And I said, how many sales are you guys selling at the moment? And because they had this big sales problem, huge sales problem, they kept saying. And they said 300 units a month. And I went, hang on a second, you don't have a sales problem, you've got a retention problem. And I flipped the board around and I said, that's it. I'm going to stop 50 people leaving a month, and then we'll have a growth of 50. Like, you're selling 300 units. That's good to me. So the whole concept is growth. So how I start off is going, okay, so if you've got 300 students in your studio at the moment and you want to get to 350 next month, then you need to grow by 50. So you need to work on the percentage of people that are leaving each month. In the fitness industry, we generally work on 5% of people leaving every month. I don't know what it's like. Maybe you can help out some of your coaching clients with those figures, but we have to work out what percentage of people is leaving each month, and then we add the growth on top, and then we've got our sales figures. So to give you a rough example, I'm growing by 50 units a month at the moment in one of my studios. So our growth target is 50. So we're probably losing about 10 units a month. So our sales target's 60. So I know we need to go out and get obviously more than 60 because we've got about a 40% closing ratio off our trials at the moment. It could be better. I usually shoot for 55%, but off trials I'm happy with that. So then we worked out the other day that we needed to get, it was something like, say 180 people in a month for trials. We convert 40 of them and we get 60 sale units. That's kind of how it works. But it all comes down to the growth target of the units of students that you need.
I love that. And I know what we've done with lots of our studios, talk about growth, but we then talk about frequency because so many people are like, we need more students. I'm like, hey, with those people that are at your studio and already that are loving your classes, are you cross-selling them into other classes? Are you upselling them? So there's an opportunity always there as well to get your students involved more in your studio in the services that you've got.
Right, totally. And you might have products that you sell and all that sort of thing. I look like very dark, hey? It's not so bad for a 40-year-old. It's getting a bit darky, but I like the dark. I look better. So, yeah, so totally with that, there's, what's the frequency of them? I think that there definitely could be you can gain more security by membership-based stuff. You and I both love the direct debit system. I've just gone in from I saved a yoga studio about 4 years ago. It only had about 80 members when I was going in there, and they were about to close, and they all sold like single sessions and 10 packs and all that. And that business has been open for 4 years since the time I went in there. Instantly in the first year, we got $100,000 onto the books, and then obviously since then it's been growing. So it's on about 300 odd direct debit members now. They're probably goal. I just told them I really want them to lift again. They were sitting nicely, but I want them to go to 500. So I really upped the ante there because I think they're right at the right level. But, I just don't think the Australian market, whether it be dance, yoga, Pilates, any business, you just can't forecast if you're just taking single sessions as well. Like, you've got to really seriously think about long-term income. So whether that be, unlimited sessions for a certain amount per week, or like you're saying, there's a minimum of 2 classes per week that they do. Of course, you're going to have your drop-in cash, but that's just bonus money. Like, I don't forecast drop-in casual cash at all. Like, if I get it, great. But, what's a handful of dollars? Like, really need to forecast with, understanding that. Plus, also, like you said, the profit margins of profit centers, maybe we can have an intro day, or we can have just a specific intensive workshop for the day and get more people in. And I think those days are really great to increase your cash. So
yeah, I love that you mentioned, the direct debit. I mean, we're lucky, we've got studio owners from around the globe that are part of our programs, but so many people now are going, yes, okay, let's do direct debit. Let's get people on a membership program so that we've got that cash flow continually through the year, not just for 8 months. I mean, some studios are just operating 8 months. A lot of them now are operating, 9 and 10 months of the year, but we want to create a business that, basically rock and rolls 12 months of the year.
Yeah, well, a lot of the time, especially in the studios, you're starting to get contracts now. Even if you work out of a hall, like, they're going to have commitment that they're going to be asked for. And, the rent's so expensive, especially in Australia. I know America's rent's not so big, but it's all relative to the wages and everything anyway. So our wages are really high and our rent is really high. So there's no way I would open a studio in especially Sydney, Melbourne or Brisbane, and obviously some parts of America, particularly LA and New York, without that security that those members are going to be paying me for a certain period of time. So just to use the yoga example again, because I think it's really relative, because yoga is doing exactly what the dance exactly now. Like, I don't know any other yoga studio doing what I'm doing. Everyone's still taking 10 passes per session workouts, and there's no way I would do that. So I just opened a yoga studio 3 months ago, and we're selling 12-month direct debit memberships. Yes, it's hard to teach that culture to people, but our growth is 50 new direct debit memberships a month, and we're doing it. I'm not saying it's easy. Like, it's taken every single ounce of my body, to be able to do this, but I know that as soon as we lock them in, we've got longevity. If we don't do this, like people, we've had a really cold winter, especially in Sydney, and you just can't judge those sort of environments. If we didn't have those people locked in, our business would be dead in the water at the moment. I'm sure some studios out there have struggled in Sydney over the winter periods. It's just been a really cold time for us, and that happens in different environments. Like with Queensland, you can get a lot of rain, and obviously Melbourne, certain conditions. You just don't want you don't want anything else to factor on the performance of your business because we have so many other variables we need to deal with. So I just would start forward thinking, and obviously you can help your clients to be able to put those processes in place because we've both worked together with the billing environment, but there's no way as a business owner I'd secure a rent. Like my rent's $115,000 a year. I just can't do that. Plus also to my teachers, their livelihood, relies on me, and I think that not a lot of people respect that relationship. I can't just tell my teachers, oh, sorry, I need to cancel your class tomorrow because I don't have anybody in that class. Like eventually you're going to lose good people as well. And you've got to understand their whole livelihood develops around what you can provide for them consistently as well. So it's just a win for everybody. And the other thing is it makes people come. So if they've got a dance membership and they've got, unlimited classes for the week, they'll just maximize it, It's just it's a win for them too. So they'll get better and whatever their goal may be, whether it be losing weight or it might be just to get social, whatever it is, they'll just use it more. But when you do passes and stuff like that, it makes the people use it less, but unlimited memberships make people use it more because they want to get more value. So if you sell someone a 10-class pass, then what they'll do is, like today I woke up with a bit of a sniffle again and, you would think, oh, I don't want to waste my session. I won't go in tonight. But if I had a full membership where it was unlimited, I'd go in anyway and I'd just have a go even if it was half pace. Mm-hmm. So 10 passes and all that sort of thing, casual usage actually decreases attendance, but unlimited products like an unlimited membership actually increases attendance. An increase in attendance equals results, retention, referrals. It just win for everybody, especially a customer.
I agree. I'm a big fan of membership. I guess a hurdle or a challenge that lots of studio owners come up against is if they've been doing it one way. So a lot of studio owners might invoice for the term, okay? Or the month. They're invoicing for the month or the quarter. How do they go about making that shift to maybe a monthly direct debit and getting parents to hand over their credit cards? And I mean, they're doing it for swimming and they're doing it at the gym, but for some reason they're a bit maybe stuck around. I don't want to do it for dance because you have 6 weeks holidays or you have the whole of summer off in the US. How can they kind of get around that?
Yeah, so we did that with swim schools. So swim schools, especially in Florida and here, I worked with a software company that ran out of both countries. And swim schools now, I'd say as a guess, I still think that most of them run by terms. So, but the good swim schools like Carlisle especially is a really big school and they do direct debit every day, every week of the year except probably the 1 or 2 times such as, maybe the Christmas period they're off for 2 weeks. That's about it. Maybe 1 week at Easter. But I enrolled my daughter 7 years now ago in swim school and she was on direct debit all the way up until last year. This year. I've just pulled her out this winter because she just outgrew it. I think she's ready for squads. It's just her age. She's ready for the next level, but I pulled her out of swim school. So I've been a parent of a swim school direct debit every week, and I just think that, it's all about the business and it's about how you sell to your customers because generally they're not going to shop around. They may shop around to one other person, but if this is the way it is and you just say, you present it that this is the way it is, consumer will just buy because, that's the way it is. Again, swim school is not 100% into direct debits at the moment, so they're still old school term based, but the good ones have gone there and realised it's, again, better for the student to be swimming all the way through the holidays. There's so many excuses, and for parents to drop out of the term, what you're doing as a business owner is you're asking someone mentally to make a purchase 4 times a year every term. They've got to weigh up the money and the pain versus the pleasure. And every time you do that, that's 4 times a year. That's insane. Like, I love sales, but I don't want to ask anybody else to make that sales decision at all. Like, if I can help it, I just get them in, make the decision to stay. No way will I ask them to make a decision. I want them to make a decision to leave. So, but I would never get someone to enroll 4 times in a year because that's just asking the same customer to buy 4 times. You might as well just do it one time, and then if they want to leave, you have a minimum term period of 6 or 12 months, and then they've got to make a conscious decision to leave. And I think that's just a much better way to have rapid growth.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I'm sort of stumbling around.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm all for it, and we teach it in our programs as well. And I just like to hear someone else's perspective, though, on a similar industry, but is faced with the same types of challenges. I want to talk about free trials because you mentioned them before. Free trials are going crazy at the moment in the dance space. I mean, you go onto everyone's website and they're doing a free trial. You know, what we hear from our members and from studio owners that I talk to is that they're getting people to sign up for the free trial, or that someone's sending them an email saying, I want to come for that trial, but then they don't come up. You know, they don't come into the studio, or maybe then they come to the studio and they do the trial and then you never hear from them again. I mean, what are some strategies that you can put in place, or that you've put in place to, you know, I guess help them get into being an enrolled student?
Right, because it's pretty scary coming into a class in a free trial when you think perception-wise that everybody else in that class knows exactly what they're doing. So that's why they chicken out. So the first thing I did so we had the first week of me opening the yoga studio, and we've got Pilates reformer beds, and not a lot of people know what that is, so they do want to have a trial because they actually don't know what it is. Same as the dance programs. I don't know what all the dance programs are either. So we actually had failure on it in the first week in converting. I said, that's it. We're not selling trials, but we book them in. But we try and, if anybody books in for a trial, we give them a call and say, listen, we've got to book you in for a studio tour prior. So we make them come in 20 minutes before the class. That way we sit down with them, we go through a needs analysis, and we just make sure they're actually, one, booked into the right type of class. Because if someone's not fit and they're going into a higher dance class, or there might be the wrong age group, and, you know, you might have a whole lot of young hip hoppers and you've got a 55-year-old overweight lady. She's going to the experience is not, we'll put it that way, that trial class is not going to sell anyway. You're actually going to make her realise she doesn't want to do it, not wants to do it.
Yeah.
And you might have a disconnect with a teacher. So I said to my team, listen, we're putting too much, whilst the trials are great for marketing, we're not going to stop that. We've got to change the system because we're putting too much pressure on that teacher to deliver that number one service in that one class that's going to make that person buy. No one buys a class because of the trial. What they do is they buy it because they've got a need. So people can book trials, but they must do a studio tour first, which means we sit down for 10 to 20 minutes. It might be before the class, or we might get them in at a different time. That way we can show them around. Once they've been in the studio, we ask them what their needs are. So what is the number one reason why someone wants to, try a dance program with us? Fitness, something to do on a Saturday night or Thursday night or whatever, just a social component. It might be that they're uncoordinated and they want to be coordinated. They might be whatever, losing weight. I've heard so many different reasons of why people do dance, and we do bar as well in my studio as well. So there's so many different components to dance. It's just crazy. And then you've got people who really want to learn technique, right? So you need to sit down with them and find out pretty much which one of those 5 components it is. And then we sell the program. We don't sell that one class. And anytime I put a whole lot of people through trials and we're not converting, it's because we're selling the trial, not the membership or the program. We've just got to go, girls, don't sell trials anymore. We've got to go back and sell the program. So we can book them for trials, but we've got to understand the bigger picture of that customer and let them know, Clint, if you want to get started today, we're going to give you your first month free, put you in for a 12-month program, whatever it is. But, you're going to do some of this type of class, you'll do some of this type of class, and, we'll just move you around the program for the next 12 months as your fitness levels grow or whatever it is. And that's how we do it. So the main thing is firstly booking a studio tour. But we also ring them and follow them up as well. And at the time of them coming in for the studio tour, you've got to ascertain what their number one priority is in choosing a dance program. And then we, give them probably a number of options to do. And we ask them to buy. If you trade in your trial today, you have a X, Y, and Z offer. So they must have ability to trade in that trial today. So go and do that one class, come out, and if you want to trade in, we'll give you a special promotion. And then follow up. But you'll find that you'll increase your trial conversion by 50%. We're doing that in some of the finding trials. I hear this a lot from the F45 franchise as well. They do group classes, like group personal training, and they were burning a whole lot of trials as well at the same time, but they just didn't have a procedure like this. So if you put this procedure in, instantly I've already had people ring me saying their conversions have gone up heaps. So
yeah, I love that process, and studio owners can definitely do this. We actually talked about this probably about 4 weeks ago, the consultation, that appointment to come into the studio, and actually instead of just throwing little Susie into the class, 8-year-old Susie into the class, off you go, actually having a conversation with Susie and the parent exactly 20 minutes before the class and saying, hey, getting to know them, finding out why they want to come to classes. Generally, it's the parent, so it's having the conversation, with the parent. And then after the class, following up.
I hope you enjoyed one of our favorite moments from Dance Teachers Unite. If you'd like lifetime access to over 30 hours of these video masterclasses, make sure to check out www.dancestudioownersassociation.com.